Is Bitcoin finally going to break this major resistance round about the levels of 28,500 US dollars, and we could expect a massive pump towards the upside, reaching our price target of 31,000 US dollars in the immediate short term? Because yes, it looked quite bearish over the weekend and it looked like that Bitcoin wants to break this support, but guys, Bitcoin turned around and we're going to find out on the monthly chart where this could be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. And yes, we're also going to look at some historic data to find out why this month could be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. So if you want to find out what we could expect in the immediate short term and which levels will be very important for Bitcoin, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and most importantly activate the bell so that you always stay up to date. Welcome back to B for Crypto, and yes guys, I hope you had a great weekend, and we're going to start directly on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And yes guys, it looked quite bearish for Bitcoin because we were breaking the 13 EMA on the daily chart towards the downside. But guys, first of all, we're going to take the Fibonacci retracement level all the way from the swing low all the way to the swing high, and then we can see, yes guys, Bitcoin was still trading above the 23.6, and that is quite bullish. Why? Because yes, this was still a higher low for Bitcoin, and that is extremely bullish that we were holding this trend line and also forming a higher low for Bitcoin. But guys, if you want to find out what we could expect in the immediate short term, if we're going to break this major resistance or if we're going to break this major support and dump towards the downside, we're going to go on the lower time frames on the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin to find out what we could expect in the immediate short term. So on the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin, guys, we're first going to look at the price movement, and yes guys, we saw this major dump towards the downside and this extreme pump towards the upside, and this was exactly at the FOMC meeting. But guys, we see that in these areas we have a lot of resistance, and Bitcoin was testing this area several times. So guys, if we're going to fail to break this area towards the upside, yes, I could expect that we're going to see retracement from these levels and maybe even going to break this major support. But guys, we're first going to concentrate on the price movement that Bitcoin is forming at the moment, and if we find out in which formation we are at the moment, then yes guys, we're in this ascending triangle. But yes, we broke this ascending triangle towards the downside and found support on this major trend line, but we could see it was resistance exactly here. But yes, this was all from the FUD from Binance and the CFTC filing this lawsuit against CZ and Binance, so that's why we saw this dump towards the downside and this fast recovery towards the upside. But guys, we can see that at the moment we are still in this ascending triangle. So let's find out what are the price targets if we're going to break out from this ascending triangle, because the ascending triangle is a bullish breakout pattern, because we can see that the price movement moves bullish into the ascending triangle, and then we see this consolidation forming higher lows. And if we're going to break out exactly from this neckline, this major resistance area, we could expect a price target if we're going to take it from the resistance all the way back down to the swing low. So let's go over to the charts and find out what is our price target going to be if we're going to break out from this ascending triangle. So we're going to take it all the way from the neckline all the way down to the swing low, and then we're going to drag it over to the potential breakout point, which would exactly be in these areas. So we could expect a price target of, guys, 31,000 US dollars for Bitcoin if we're going to break this major resistance towards the upside. But guys, we're first going to draw the Fibonacci retracement level all the way from the swing high all the way to the swing low, and then we can see exactly in these areas we had the swing low touching perfectly this trend line of the ascending triangle. And at the moment we can see that the price movement of Bitcoin came all the way up to the 61.8, which is exactly round about the levels of 28,500 US dollars. And we saw this rejection towards the downside. But guys, first of all, we could expect that Bitcoin will come all the way back down to the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level, which is round about the levels of 28,149, until we're going to see the next move up. But guys, let's go on the even lower time frames. On the 15-minute chart, we could see that Bitcoin found support round about these levels, and we saw this quick move towards the upside and a recovery back above this range that we have been holding over the whole weekend. Because yes, we could see that on Sunday we have lost this major support that we have been forming, and we saw this perfect breakdown towards the downside with a break and a retest of this major support, which now acts as resistance, and we saw this dump towards the downside forming this low. But then we could see that Bitcoin turned around, and guys, we were trading back above this range over the support that we held over the weekend. But guys, we saw this retracement towards the downside, so we're going to take the Fibonacci retracement level all the way from the low all the way to the swing high that we have formed for Bitcoin on the 50-minute chart. And then we can see, guys, we blasted through all of these major resistance areas that we had round about the 38.2, where we can see that Bitcoin formed some resistance on Sunday, but we could see that Bitcoin was holding the 23.6 exactly in these levels. But at the moment we're getting this rejection towards the downside, and guys, like I told you on the 4-hour chart, I expect that we're going to see a retracement all the way down to the 38.2, which would also be in perfect alignment with this major support, because yes, previous resistance turns into support, and here we could see we had some resistance. So guys, maybe we're just going to see this retest of this area, and then Bitcoin will break out from this trend line that we have been forming. So we could expect that Bitcoin is first going to come all the way back up to this major resistance area round about the $28,700 until we're going to see the next move up. But guys, let's go back on the 4-hour chart, and yes guys, if we're going to get this positive move all the way up, we could expect that Bitcoin will try to break this major resistance. But guys, if we're going to get a rejection exactly in this area, we could expect that yes, Bitcoin is going to see a major dump towards the downside, and if we're going to break this very important trend lines round about the level of $27,300, we could expect that yes, Bitcoin is going to come all the way back down on the 4-hour chart towards the 200 moving average, that we're going to see that yes, that Bitcoin has to retest this major support areas that we can see exactly here until we're going to get the next move up for Bitcoin. But now we're going to find out why we could expect a bullish move for Bitcoin during this month. So let's go over to the long-term logarithmic chart of Bitcoin, and yes guys, we're on the monthly chart of Bitcoin. So we're first going to zoom in the previous cycles to find out what we could expect. And guys, after we've reached this bottom in the year 2015, when Bitcoin closed a monthly candle over the 13 EMA, we saw this bullish move towards the upside. But guys, let's go over to the next cycle. In the year 2019, Bitcoin formed this bottom, closed the monthly candle over the 13 EMA, and we saw this bullish pump towards the upside before the previous halvening. So guys, what could we expect this time? If we're going to zoom in, then yes, we could see that Bitcoin closed the monthly candle over the 13 EMA, and that is mega bullish for Bitcoin. So guys, we could expect this massive pump towards the upside and a small correction before the halvening, and then we're going to start with this parabolic run leading into the halvening, and then we could expect that we're going to break the all-time high and that we are going to finally reach a new all-time high for Bitcoin. But guys, if you want to trade all of these moves, make sure to go down in the video description below and sign up with my BITGET link, where you can trade Bitcoin on the spot market and on the leverage market. And guys, make sure to be in my free Telegram group. But guys, now we're going to go over to find out what historical data is going to tell us that April is going to be an extreme good month for Bitcoin. And yes guys, we're going to look at the Bitcoin monthly returns. So we could expect in April we had a lot of positive closes on the monthly chart. So yes guys, if we go back on the long-term logarithmic chart of Bitcoin, and if we're going to zoom out and we're going to look at all of these arrows, then yes guys, the red candles are the Aprils where we were at the top of the markets, where we could see that Bitcoin dumped towards the downside, and we had this red close on the monthly chart in April, as we can see exactly here and also here. But guys, let's look at the green candles, and this has been April's in the bottom of the bear markets, and we could see that these were always positive months where we saw that the price movement of Bitcoin went higher from these areas. So yes guys, we could expect a positive move during this month, because if we look at the history, then yes guys, every time when the price movement of Bitcoin was in a bear market, we saw a positive move in April towards the upside, and we could expect that yes, this month is going to be bullish for Bitcoin. But guys, yes, let's go back on the lower time frames on the 50-minute chart of Bitcoin to find out what Bitcoin is doing at the moment. And guys, yes, we can see that at the moment Bitcoin is perfectly holding the 200 moving average on the 15-minute chart, which is round about the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level. So yes guys, I expect that we're maybe going to see this wick towards the downside to scare out all of these long positions, because yes, a lot of stop losses will be exactly in these areas from people who wanted to take this trade all the way up. So guys, yes, we should wait until Bitcoin really holds this support, and we could see that yes, we are forming a bullish structure in these areas, and we could expect a pump towards the upside if we're going to break this resistance area. So yes guys, this is what we could expect in the immediate short term, that Bitcoin will see a consolidation round about these areas. Maybe we're going to come all the way back down to the 50 moving average, which is also the 38.2 Fibonacci retracement level. But guys, I expect that Bitcoin will see a massive pump towards the upside, and that we are at least going to come all the way back up to test this major resistance resistance, but guys, we're going to find out if we're going to break this resistance towards the upside. And guys, if you always want to stay up to date, make sure to go down in the video description below and sign up to my free Telegram group. And guys, make sure to be for crypto, and we see each other in the next video.